We'll call the meeting to order. This is the regular meeting of Council of the Municipality of Swan Valley West, held in Council Chambers at 216 Main Street, Swan River, Manitoba, this 10th day of February 2026 at 7 p.m. Present this evening, Reeve, Gade, Councillor Zbirun, McGregor, Neely, Burick, Kushniryk, our CAO, Kristi, Ronnquist is here. Videographer Jeremy Burgess joins us as well. We'll hit to number 1.2 on the agenda. Be it resolved that notice of absence submitted by Councilmember Blosha regarding the regular meeting of Council held this 10th day of February 2026 shall be accepted as received. Moved by Councillor Neely. Who would like to second? Councillor McGregor. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. Those in favour? That is carried. To number 2 we go. Be it resolved that the agenda for the regular meeting of Council held this 10th day of February 2026 shall be adopted as presented. Would someone like to move that? Councillor Burick, and I see Councillor Kushniryk as well. Any additions or changes anybody would like to make? Hearing nothing, we'll call the question. Those in favour? That too is carried. Number 3, be it resolved the minutes of the regular council meeting held this 27th day of January 2026 be adopted as presented. Who would like to move that resolution? Well, Councillor Kushniryk and Councillor Neely. Copy of the minutes are attached. Has everybody had a chance to look those over? Does anyone need more time? Were there any errors or omissions found in the minutes? We'll call the question. Those in favour? That is carried. To number 4, the Public Works report attached to the agenda. Let's go over it. The 160M is back and running well. First day back on the road was yesterday. That's the one that was in Yorkton and had the transmission rebuilt, so we've brought it home. The correct parts for Chris's grader arrived today, so the 870 GP should be back on the road no later than tomorrow. But there's an update. When they unpack the crate, it's again the wrong part. So I don't think we've been here since this wrong part saga began.
No.
That particular year of graders has a break in the serial numbers. So before the break in the serial numbers, the little thingy that holds the wheel has a hole about this big in it. And after the break in the serial numbers, the hole gets smaller. So the first time they shipped us the part, they shipped us the one with the smaller hole in it. And our grader can't use that piece. So there was great discussion about how that happened, and they decided they had looked at the wrong serial number, they would fix it, they'd send the right part. So it did come this morning. It too has the small hole instead of the big hole. So now they're rejigging all of this again, trying to find the piece that has the right size hole. It's only about 3/4 of an inch difference, but that's a pretty important 3/4 of an inch when you're hooking a grader together. So they're going to take
Is
stab
there
number
part
3
number on that?
There is.
It should be stamped right on it,
It is.
so that doesn't help any.
It seems to be part number plus revision. Because why change the part number? But you could have the same part number with 2 different size holes.
So it's not the same part.
It's not the same part.
Could you phone them and say, the hole in this thing is 1 3/4, send us that part?
Well, I think what's maybe happened, and this is conjecture, I think the first time they did have the serial number right, and they sent what they thought was the right part, but somebody in the warehouse had put the wrong one in that bin. And so then, when that was the wrong one, they sent us the other one, which is also
So
the
the
wrong
same
one.
one.
Yes. And so we're going to try again for try number 3 and see if we can maybe get the right size part and get the grader fixed. The 772 had a hydraulic fitting failure yesterday just north of Co-op Agro, lost all its fluid, was repaired, taken back to Swan shop, washed the fluid out of the radiator, went back to work a little later.
That's Ralph's grader?
That's Ralph, yeah. Thankfully he wasn't too far away yet. Clearing of the bush on road 171 should be complete this week, so that is out by Thunder Hill where we're clearing to get access to that property.
That landlocked property.
Yeah, so they're getting through the trees pretty good there right now. It's a little peaty in there some places, so it might be a little interesting step next, but for now at least the trees will be out of the way.
So it's gonna be a farm access road, right?
Yeah, so it's not gonna be amazing, it's just gonna be enough. So, the large front mount snow blower, there was a resolution on this a few years ago. It's finally going to Ag Shield to be refurbished so we can actually start using it again on the tractor. So we're gonna see how that turns out, but it's making its way over there. Derek's hoping to get to the Kendall Hall this week. We've got much more Kendall Hall discussion to come. to look at what needs to be done. So we'll get into some more of that a little later on. Looking at replacing the new office shop's overhead door in order to make it more efficient in regards to hydro costs. There's an estimate coming, it's on the agenda tonight. The disker for the grader schedule will be picked up and taken back to Yorkton for paint and serial number. Kyle will be bringing the snow bucket with him when he comes, so we'll have that. We have a map of our ditch clearing for spring ready to go, starting with 170, where we had that little ditch digging fiasco, to make sure we get that cleaned out for.
That should be ditch cleaning, right, not clearing?
Yeah, cleaning with just the snow, making a track through it. Trees in the ditch for access to the new fire hall are being taken down this week. Now we got kind of lucky there. Manitoba Hydro's in the area killing trees, and we said, would you like to kill a few more? And they said, just mark them. So we put quite a few marks up.
They're right there right now.
Yeah, so the trees are going away without us having to go do it. Beautiful thing. And Manitoba Hydro will be installing a new gas meter in the Swan shop this week. I think that covers most of it. There's a few things in camera we'll talk about for Public Works, as you can imagine, but it's a good shot at what they've been up to lately. Any discussion on any of that stuff? What time is that public hearing supposed to be? Is it 7:15 or is
I
it?
think it was 7:15.
Okay, then we'll keep going. On our delegation list tonight, we have two possible appeals. They're scheduled for 7:30 and 7:45. I know the 7:30 is not coming because they've sent a letter. So if you want, we can take a peek at that now. We'll probably have to discuss it further in camera though. So we received a letter from the person, and what's an issue here is this is a fine for dogs that were running loose. So they've sent a letter explaining that they have done some things to stop the dogs from running. We have checked in with the neighbors around there today, and they haven't seen the dogs lately. So they're kind of wondering if we'll waive the fine or not. But we'll probably give that in camera discussion unless somebody really wants to hear. Okay. And then the other is the 7:45. We don't know if they're coming or not. We'll find out a little later on. Let's go to 8.1, General Cheques. Be it resolved, the Council of the Municipality of Swan Valley West hereby approves the following payments. General Cheques number 21109 to 21132 in the amount of $106,828.61. And pre-authorized debits number 2026-005 to 2026-009, the amount of $8,242.08 for a grand total of $115,070.69. Someone wish to move the resolution? Councillor Burick, and I see Councillor Kushniryk. I have a copy of the checklist here. Councillor Blosha's away, so somebody else will have to take her spot with asking questions. Councillor Burick.
21109, was that done, when was that done? Crack ceiling?
Was done in September, October.
Okay,
We asked them why we hadn't received a bill for it,
yeah,
and they hadn't quite finished it. There were a couple of streets they didn't do.
Okay.
But because we had the money in the budget, we asked if they could maybe just bill what they had done, and then we could worry about the rest of next year. But we wanted to get as much of it as we could when
Okay.
the budget was for it.
No names or, my vendors didn't come through.
If you want the
Take
paper,
it down.
I've got the paper one if you want.
No, that's all right, it just, mine just doesn't show the vendor name on it.
That's weird.
Yeah, and the check numbers, I don't know what do you do with the check number?
Where are you?
Oh, well, okay, here. First one.
Oh,
It doesn't matter, but I can figure a lot of them out anyway.
look.
There's nothing real huge here, so I'm not too shaky.
Other questions?
there's another thing too, it's the last, one of the last ones, 2026-006, your Calabria MasterCard?
Yes,
Do you have a,
I do.
yeah, you do have one? Can we look, can we see that, or?
Yep.
we can- Thanks, I just wanted to take a look at it, see what's in.
This page may go with that too. I think there's two more on here. Anything else? Hearing nothing, we'll call the question on the resolution. Those in favor? That's carried. Payroll checks. Be it resolved, the Council of the Municipality of Swan Valley West hereby approves the following payments. Payroll payments, number 1089 to 1105, the amount of $30,041.42. Councillor Neely to move the resolution. Who would like to second? Councillor McGregor. Copy of those payroll amounts are attached. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. Those in favor? That's carried. Indemnities. Be it resolved, the Council of the Municipality of Swan Valley West hereby approves the following payments. Indemnities for January number 4765 to 4773, the amount of $9,873.82. Someone wishing to move the resolution? Councillor Kushniryk, who would like to second? Councillor Burick. Copy of those indemnities are attached to the agenda. Any questions or discussion? Hearing nothing, we'll call the question on the resolution. Those in favor? That's carried. We do not have an expenses report tonight. Can we have one next time though? Be nice to have. We're still a little touch away from a public hearing, so let's go to 9.2, Rural Animal Control and Bylaw Report. Be it resolved, the Rural Animal Control and Bylaw Report for January 2026 be received and approved for payment. Is there someone to move the resolution? Good job, guys. Councillor Zbirun to start, then
Thank you,
Councillor
Kristi.
Neely. Copy of that report is attached. Office paper and phone calls for 2 hours is all that's on there this time around. Any discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? 9.3. Be it resolved, the Urban Animal Control Report for January 2026 be received and approved for payment. Would someone like to move the resolution? Councillor Kushniryk, who would like to second it? Councillor Zbirun. A little more details here, also 2 hours though. All of this relates to dogs in Durban. Reviewing videos and photos and dealing with people that are concerned about dogs running at large in Durban. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. Those in favor? That is carried. Where are we going to go? It's 7:14, so let's go to the public hearing. Where's my resolution for that? Right down. Here. Be it resolved that we adjourn the regular meeting of council to attend the public hearing for the subdivision and variance. Is there someone to move that? Councillor Neely, who would like to second? Councillor Kushniryk, discussion. Call the question. Those in favor? That is carried. Let me get my computer reset to public hearing mode. There it is. So, call to order tonight a public hearing regarding a variance order for a non-farm dwelling over the maximum 10 acres in the Municipality of Swan Valley West. The hearing is held in council chambers at 216 Main Street, Swan River, Manitoba, this 10th day of February 2026 at 7:15 p.m. Present for the meeting we have Reeve, Gade, Councillors Brad Kushniryk, Brian Burick, Byron Zbirun, R.J. McGregor, Terry Neely, Councillor Blosha, Centre Regrets, CAO Kristi Ronnquist is here, and videographer Jeremy Bergen is here as well. So the purpose of the public hearing is to call for anyone who wishes to make presentations for or against the application we have tonight. Pretty short list of people, rather than just calling 3 times. Jeremy, do you have any presentation to make? Meredith, have you any presentation?
No.
All right, so I think we've exhausted the list of people that may wish to speak tonight. Does anybody else have anything they want to say here at the public hearing?
Nope.
It's a good thing they have these rules that we have to go through all these resolutions just in case, yeah. All right, so then, be it resolved, this public hearing shall now adjourn and reopen the regular meeting of council at 7:16 p.m. Is there someone to move that? Councillor Burick, who would like to second it? Councillor Zbirun. Any discussion? Hearing nothing, we'll call the question. Those in favor? That is carried. So we will reconvene the regular meeting of council after I click enough buttons to get back to it. Here it comes. So let's throw all caution to the wind and go straight to the actual resolution for the public hearing. Whereas the owner of part northeast quarter, section 23528 west, has made application to subdivide a 12.72 acre parcel that includes the existing yard site, and also application for a variance to allow a non-farm dwelling over the maximum 10 acres in the AG agriculture zone. It requires approval from the Municipality of Swan Valley West as per community planning. Therefore be it resolved, we do hereby approve the subdivision of the above noted property along with the required variance, provided that all conditions and requirements are met as included in the letter from Municipal Relations. Councillor Neely moves that. I see Councillor Burick to second it. Any discussion this time around?
Just provincial, got no problem with it. So.
No, they seem happy as can be. It makes sense.
Very short letter for a change from them.
Yes, it is. It is. All right, we'll call the question. Those in favor? That's carried. Let's go then to 9.5. I was out at a fire not too terribly long ago where we had no water, which is becoming a problem more and more often. So we've been kicking around internally, what can we do about this? What are the options? And so we've been poking at various places. We've looked at new water tankers for about $270,000. We could have a brand shiny new water tanker. It's an option. That one's pretty fancy. Like 270 is top of the line. It's got the pump in it. It's got the different valves. It can do this. It can do that. It's way more trucks than
But
we'd ever
does it
need.
have a heated seat?
It's got a heated pump house at least. There are cheaper ones when you get down to a flat deck and you put a plastic tank on it, right? That just has the tank and a valve without all the pumps and everything. You start to bring the price down. We were also poking at Valley Water because we know they're getting a new truck. So they have for sale their old truck. This is the one they're still using every day, but they plan to replace. It's a T800, 3,500 gallon tank, 18-speed transmission, $30,000. And I said, it's too cheap. There's gotta be something wrong with it. Now they assure me it's in fairly good condition, but it's an older truck. The tank leaks a little bit and would have to have the epoxy fixed. The engine runs every day right now. But like, we'd have to be realistic. If we're buying something for $30,000, there's gonna be some repairs. Councillor Neely,
How much are we gonna drive this truck?
not much.
Once a year. Twice a
Another
year.
comment I'd like to make is we're putting up this new fire hall. Is there a stall in there where it can sit in there all winter full of water?
So there's some options for this. There will be space in this new fire garage that would hold it and keep it from freezing. So it'll be ready to go. There's also space in Hall 2. And so the great debate has to be had, where would the truck go? More calls that need water happen around Swan River than happen around Benito. So if the truck's in Benito and is going to run back to Swan for the calls on the edge of Swan, should it be in Benito or should it be in Swan and run to Benito when Benito needs it? That is an interesting question. Data says it should be in Swan. Swan Valley, we've talked about this at the fire board in the past. They would have no issue with having two Swan River firefighters go to the truck and drive it to the Benito fire. It would still get it there fairly quickly. If Swan's dispatched at the same time Benito is, it would be a lot faster. We were an hour and a half waiting for Valley Water in the last fire. So it would be there in 20 or 25 minutes as compared to an hour and a half wait.
I guess the reason you're saying have it in Swan is maybe more population closer to.
There's more fire calls here. Like if you think of the whole
You're
Pond
thinking
Drive, everything.
for just our municipality or just for the fire board to use as well?
Well, it would be, for what benefits Swan Valley West, there's more calls to things that need water within 10 miles of Swan River than there is within 10 miles of Benito.
That's what I mean, there's
Yeah.
more population in our municipality closer by.
And the summertime, it's not a big deal, because there's
Yeah.
always farmers with tanks of water sitting. But when we get into late fall and early spring and all through the winter, there's nobody to call for water.
We shouldn't have to be calling farmers either.
No.
But I
They
mean,
do
in
help
a
with
real
it.
emergency
Yeah.
or something, you know.
For sure. A couple years ago, we lost that house out by the airport. You know, and
Right,
that's, would have been
right.
a save, except they ran out of water. And if they'd had just one more tank of water,
Yeah.
the house would still be there. $30,000 is a lot more palatable than $270,000.
Well, personally, I think we should just buy it from Chris and be done with it.
I think we just have to go to with our eyes wide open. There's gonna be some repairs. But it's a
Oh, it's
$30,000
gonna need
truck, there's
something.
gonna be some things that have to
But
be
it
fixed
won't
on
be
it.
$240,000
But
worth.
they gotta undergo an annual safety,
Right.
and it runs every day right now.
Yeah,
We've been talking internally about, you know, when we rebuilt 216, we needed to water it. So it would be nice to have this truck available, you know, we could use it during the day if we're gonna rebuild the road, go water the road with it, fill it up, put it back at 4 o'clock. You know, we could get a little bit of use out of it besides just fire duty. But, you know, it's certainly, it shouldn't go every single day, it's not going to. It's gonna sit long times. Just the important part is when a firefighter goes to get it, it's gotta start. You know, we have to make sure that it's not some weirdness to get it to go.
well, yeah.
But if
Should be,
it's sitting in a
should be
workshop-
running, it shouldn't be sitting there for a few months on end. It should
Yeah,
be-
we'll have to start at least once a
Take it
month.
up, take it for,
You've got a fire truck sitting here at this fire hall.
We do.
It's gonna be an hour for that, or excuse me, water truck. It's gonna be an hour before they get to Benito.
Why would it be an hour?
Because by the time you send somebody from here, it's gonna take them at least 15 minutes to get to that fire truck, or to the fire, to drive.
to the fire hall.
Fire hall, get the doors open, get the truck started, get it out, close the doors, and gone. I bet you it'll be an hour before they hit Benito.
Right now, we're averaging about 4 minutes for people to be in the hall and in a truck in Swan.
It would be, I can't see it, but I could be wrong.
Well, irregardless, if we buy the thing, we can figure out where to put it. Maybe we'll find a second one. Wouldn't be the worst thing to have two if we find another one for this
Is,
price.
what's that old yellow truck?
The old one beside the fire hall?
Yeah, that's gotta be the one you mean. I think
Yeah.
the tank leaks in that thing too.
It does a little bit.
Which, I mean, you could fix. How big was the tank? It must be
I think it's 1,000 gallons.
Because the one that's here is 1,000 gallons too, but it's got engine trouble. And so it's not long for the world, is why it got parked.
The thing with that truck, it's a backup unit, right? The fire truck will be there already, I mean,
Yeah.
and so if
Yeah,
he's
this is
ten,
just
if
about
he's
bringing more water,
if
it's
he's-
not about,
15 minutes later than the fire truck, it really doesn't matter.
yeah, and we'd have to figure that out, you know.
No, but I mean,
If it does make sense or
because
not.
this truck's not gonna pump water,
No, it's just.
you know, it's just gonna feed the
it,
water
yeah.
to the fire
Yeah.
truck, so yeah, so you got the time that it takes to pump. You don't wanna go up on that bit, so I do, I don't.
I don't wanna be clear, I don't want anyone to be under the thought this means we're gonna stop paying Valley Water, because I think, you know, if there's a house fire, we're gonna ask for both.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
truck's
yeah.
gonna go, we're also gonna ask for Valley Water to come, because 6,000 gallons is better than 3.
Yeah.
You know, and if they take an hour and a half to get there, well, we've got this to get us through until they arrive with the next
I
load.
think a lot of the problem up there was it was on the weekend.
No, it's tough to find people on the weekend, because they've gotta, you know, they're the same thing, they are someplace, they have to come in and fill the truck, and then go. It's taking some time. So wherever it ends up, this needs to be sitting full of water, so it's, you know, ideally ready to go, because we want it there 5 or 10 minutes after the fire truck gets there. Because we usually have enough water for the first 10 minutes.
They use it all up in 10 minutes?
In Alpine, we only used one hose, because if we used 2 hoses, it would only got about 4 minutes.
Hmm.
And from the time they have that hose strung out and start spraying, it's not long to go
What does
through.
that truck hold for water?
750,
750 gallons.
that goes pretty quick.
Well, I think we should buy it, I don't
Yeah.
know what the rest of you fellows
Yeah.
figure.
No, I think that's a good move.
Put it in our budget for
Yep.
this year, and, cause he's not ready to sell it for 2 or 3 months
No.
anyway, so it'll work out.
Okay,
Yeah, I
so
think it's,
we will talk to him and tell him we're interested in it, we wanna make a deal on it, and we'll kind of move that process forward, it will come back here for a resolution, probably next meeting, and meeting after, once we get the deal firmed up.
See when it's ready for another safety.
Yeah. maybe he'll get it through one more first.
Yeah.
That'd be
Wait a
good.
week.
Well, it's safety first.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's.
Well, it
what
has to be
That's
safety.
right.
Yep.
Has to be.
Since we're on fire trucks, is there a fire truck in this shop of ours?
Sorry?
Is there a fire truck in this shop of ours?
Yes.
No. What is that fire truck there?
That's the old Benito truck.
I don't know, what are we keeping it for a reason, or?
Yes-ish. Benito wants to have it back when they have space for it.
Okay,
So right now it can't fit in the hole they
right,
have.
okay,
The next one it can fit in. It's got a 1,000-gallon tank. So their thought was if they don't have anything else, they want it back to have it full of water. They'll drive it out
There
to
you
the
go,
1,000
yeah.
gallons.
Well, there we would have an extra.
Yeah.
so it's still an operating unit
We
then?
could have one of
Yes,
both places.
its
Yeah,
pump
yeah.
isn't certified, so
Okay,
it's not supposed to be used to protect firefighters' life.
okay,
You know, so you can't hook a hose onto it and go in a building. But you can take it out there and dump its water into the certified one.
Okay.
The life is good.
because I thought when I was there, or when we were there looking at those buildings, I thought there was something in the corner.
And it does have engine troubles. It still starts, it still runs,
Okay,
but at some point its engine's gonna explode.
The grasslands unit is it over here too?
It'll be in the warm place over here for
Yeah,
winter,
yeah.
and it'll come back to the other one for summer.
How much,
Well,
how
sits
much,
in the
how much
swamp.
water does it hold? 250? Or
I
more?
wanna say maybe 350, 400 at the most.
It's 4,000 pounds.
That's not
Not
much.
quite 35,000.
No, it's not a huge tank in that one. I think typically when we had it out for that combine fire, I think they had to refill it a couple times out there.
Well, we could have this truck for that too. I mean,
Well, just, you know,
like everything.
More water the merrier. You know, bring water, put it on
It's not that
fire.
expensive.
Well, compared to the 270.
No, but I mean, the water is not
Oh,
that expensive.
No, exactly. It just, you know, I hate to, that house in Alpine, if we got there with more water quicker, it still would have been a heck of a mess. But there have been houses that we've been to, and the one by the airport is a perfect example. They were there, they had it just about completely out, and they were out of water, and they couldn't get any more, and they all stood there and watched it burn. And that's tough.
Sometimes I guess, I mean, if there's a life involved, different, but maybe sometimes
Sometimes
it's
it's
better
easier, I
for
don't
the
know.
person if it is
Yeah.
maybe all gone instead of 70% gone, you know?
I know that feeling on Main Street,
Yeah,
yes, because it's a heck of a mess to clean up after.
yeah, the guys are out front there quite a few days.
Okay, let's go to 9.6. If you look at the one that says the door, you'll see why we're having this discussion. So we've been chasing down why the hydro bill is so expensive at the Benito office shop. And so we took a picture of the door with it being, that's
Get the duct
outside,
tape out.
this is inside.
Why
So-
stuff?
It starts to explain the issues. There's a couple quotes here to replace the door. We did look at it. It's an old wooden door. It's not insulated. The bottom piece is broken and has been kind of nailed back together, but it's not in good shape. So there's quotes here from Valley Door for a chain opener or electric opener. I can't imagine we need an electric garage door opener there. But the chain opening quote is with taxes $5,100 to change that door out to a new insulated door with the proper stuff. What are our thoughts on that?
so where is this, begin this to?
Right behind the village office, right on the east of the,
Yeah, okay,
east end of the village office.
okay,
We'll save it in hydro.
Thought is it'll take a couple of years, but we will save it in the cost of hydro because that heater is having trouble keeping up out there.
If I'm not
Whole thing.
mistaken, a few years ago, I think that thing almost came down on town staff and it broke.
so it's behind, Terry?
It's
behind the
it's
village
not
office,
part of the
Done.
same building.
but it's behind it, yeah?
It's on the east end of the office. You know where we have the meetings
Yeah,
there?
yeah. What's
Right.
stored in there?
Typically lawnmowers and such.
Used to be our fire hall.
Fire hall
Yeah,
was at
one
one
time.
time.
That was a
Thanks to
long
the fire
time.
hall that's out there right
Back
now,
in the
look pretty
90s.
good.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. Huh.
Late 80s, 90s.
Well, how often does it have to be open?
Well, we can't open it right now.
No, I
It's
say with this
full
new,
on people.
no, with the new door, how often?
Well, ideally, it would be
Yeah.
several times a week.
Chain is fine.
Chain
Yeah,
was
chain
good.
is
We don't
fine.
make, was it 2,000 more for press the button that doesn't work?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm good with the 5, but not the 7,000.
No, I just thought that once you buy it, it's there forever. And if you don't
The
open it
door
that
on
much.
there, Brian, is likely 60 years old.
Wow.
Remember the bulk water through it to the old fire truck there?
Okay, so we'll do a resolution, be it resolved to replace the shop door of the video office with an insulated chain opened door. That's suitable?
Yeah.
Who would like to make the resolution? Councillor Neely, I see Councillor
I'm
Kushniryk,
only up and
second.
about it, I guess I'm better.
Further discussion? Call a question, those in favor? That's carried. There shall be a door. Gravel tenders, these closed today at 2 o'clock. Congratulations to us, it's February 10th and we have the tenders in already for hauling. Pretty good. Not a lot of change here from last year. So we had 2 bids. Mr. Barkman bid. He bid only on the south area, not on the north. His price, the $175 an hour plus 6%, is the same as what he bid last year. We also received a bid from Cooks. They bid on the north and the south. Their north price is the same as last year. Their south price is up by $5. And they have an optional fuel surcharge. If fuel is $1.70 a liter or higher, there's a fuel surcharge that slowly adds on 1% every 10 cents of fuel. There are some things about this we need to discuss in camera later on, but the tender results are attached to the public agenda so everyone can see them. Both companies were here today for opening and got copies of them as well because they wanted to see each other's bids. We have a scoring sheet that we did up, same as we did last year. That is not attached publicly, it's in the private view. We're going to have some discussion about that in camera a little bit later on just to see where we want to go with this. Kenville Hall, 9/8. So on Friday last week, the Kenville Hall board turned over the Kenville Hall to us. And they have now ceased to function as a hall board. So we have the keys. We were out of the building Friday night. We were back there a few times this week, looking at the building and trying to see where we are and what's going on. So the pictures here that are being shown on a support post, this is in the basement. I've never been in the basement until Friday night. So we had been told for some time that the problem here was snow load on the roof had compressed the rafters and broken a couple, and there are a couple broken rafters. I don't want to pretend there isn't. But when you look at the building, there's a lot of damage inside the building that seemed kind of inconsistent with the snow theory. On the stage, the middle of the stage is clearly sagged. The entire section is sagged. And on the entrance to the building, there's clear sagging in the building. So this post is part of the reason why. The hall is held up by 2x6 beams. I have no idea why 2x6 instead of 2x8 or 2x10, but it's 2x6s. And there has at some point been a flood in the basement, about a foot deep, when the sump pump stopped. And it looks like that flood probably went on for a year or more before it was discovered. So if you imagine everything in the basement at that 1 foot level, every piece of wood in there has been soaking wet and is somewhat raw. There's a little bit of mold, but really not that much. But there are, most of the posts through these beams are metal jack posts. And they all sit on little concrete pads on the ground. But at the far end, one post is still wood, and the other post, that concrete pad has exploded. And the post has gone down 2 inches to the floor. This wooden post has also gone down about 2 inches. Well, that's right where the sagging is on the one end.
On the west end of the building?
Yes. So far to the east end at the entrance, there's sagging too, and there's also 2 wooden posts that have this exact same problem. But when you look at the support post top, you can see how the entire building at this point is being held up by a 2x6 that only has about 2 inches of the beam touching it. That concerns me. So without your permission, we have arranged for emergency repairs of that post tomorrow. So we will have someone there that will put a metal post beside this wood post and secure that, so we can't possibly come back to the building having collapsed.
Is that a cement floor?
It is a cement floor.
You wonder why they didn't put it where it should have been? What shifted?
I don't know.
Like,
Lots of people
I'm not a carpenter,
volunteer
but I mean,
board,
I know where
things
it goes.
happen.
Like,
So we're going to fix this, we're gonna fix the other metal one, we're gonna jack that floor up a little bit where it should be. We may have to do the other 2 wood posts at the far end, or we're just gonna fix this beam so it can't go anywhere. And I've asked him to also go in the ceiling and look at the rafters and provide a quote on fixing the rafters without tearing the entire roof off. what could be done, if anything, to fix the rafters.
Is that floor solid?
The cement floor seems really good.
Maybe, you should, go get a patio block. Put
He's
it on the
gonna make
bottom,
yeah,
make
he's
a
gonna
good
make
base on the
a
bottom. eh?
base, yeah.
Yeah, one or two of them,
Yeah,
stack them up,
yeah, even one
Yeah.
would be better than,
Oh, for sure. No.
even a piece of thick metal or something.
So, the building is in pretty good shape otherwise. There's the roof issue, but we'll see what it is. Anyone that I've had out there in the last couple of days, I've said, so you think we should tear it down? And they're all like, no, why would you tear this down? It's in good shape. Except maybe for this post. But we'll fix it up. It's gonna cost us, $1,000, a couple $1,000 by the time we buy jack posts. They're $173 today because steel's up so much. But whatever, it needs it. And then we'll come back and we'll look at what the options are for the roof. And then we have to have the bigger question of what are we gonna do with it? But if we can keep it from collapsing in the meantime, that opens up a lot of opportunities for what we can do with it.
What if they got,
Well, it could be.
what
Well,
if
it
they
would
got,
fit us.
they got their own well there?
No, there's a 1,000-gallon water tank that they bring water to. It has a septic field, it's got a pressure pump, it's got a septic pump, that's all there. It works. The post office uses it as a washroom because the post office doesn't have one. So they asked if they could keep using it. I said, only if they call us if something's wrong with the building when they're there. So they'll be there a couple times a week to use the washroom and kind of make sure that it's not cold, not the door left open, you know, kind of watch it a little bit for us, which will be nice. But yeah, Kelsey, there's all sorts of options. It's a nice place and it's big.
I was just thinking if a person made it into some kind of residential thing or something, what they would do for water, you know?
Yeah, and you know, in a perfect world, if we had the water pipeline, you'd hook it up,
Yeah,
problem over. But that's, who knows, maybe it's a couple years away, maybe it's never gonna happen. There have been wells in Kent, some people have like salty water out of them, but there was one well they claimed was okay there. So I don't know if digging a well is an option, it probably wouldn't be safe, but for flushing toilets, it doesn't matter if it's salty. You know, just the drinking water needs to be.
a lot of people get water right from valley water too, you know?
And there's lots of room in the basement. If it was gonna be residential, you could make it into a cistern or something, so you'd have more than 1,000 gallons. Or dig another tank in, or there'd be options, but
I mean, you could, pretty big single residence,
it would be very big, very big.
you make at least a duplex, or whatever they call it, side by side.
And we'll see, like the museum has shown interest in that stage. If something's going to happen that's not a hall anymore, they would like the stage, or some pieces thereof to kind of replicate it at the museum. Because it's one of the last stages that's built like that around here.
So there's nothing removed from that building then? or
Well, I
there's-
didn't say that.
He said last
No, we're
time,
talking about the stage up there.
So I was out there, I don't want to piss a bunch of people off with what I say on camera, but my view is, a community hall with a community hall board, we owe those people a debt of gratitude for everything they do for it. But it is a community hall owned by the community, and what's in that hall belongs to the community. So I don't understand why the tables are all gone, or why all the dishes are gone. Because to me, those things belong with the hall. And I don't know if they sold them off to try and pay the hydro bill. I don't think so, but I just don't know. To me, if you manage a hall like a hall board and you don't want to do it anymore, it should be, here's the complete hall. And the council does something with it. Because right now, if we decide we want to run that as a hall, we have to buy tables first. And we have to buy some dishes first. And I don't know, it would be cool, like between here and wherever we're getting to, if we fix the issues and before we get to what it's going to be next, wouldn't it be cool to have something there one more time? But it's kind of tough if you then have to buy tables before you can have that event. So I don't know what they were thinking, but it's what's happened and it's water under the bridge. We can't very well go search houses in the valley to get the tables back. But they aren't there now. And neither are the dishes. There will be in the spring, I don't know how familiar you are, there's the tall part of the hall, and then there's the addition where the kitchen is. When they did the shingles, the addition shingles weren't in too bad a shape, so instead of doing the whole roof, they only did this part. This part is now not in good shape, and the roof is leaked in the kitchen. And so there's like, I don't know, 48 square feet of drywall needs to be fixed there. But so do the shingles, or else it's gonna keep being a problem. So it's gonna need shingles on that piece now, because it's out of sequence with the rest. Without having heard the quote for the rafter thing, the thought is those rafters are probably fixable without tearing the roof off. You know,
Just go inside there and.
go
splice them
inside
up.
there, splice some more, lift them a little bit, screw them all back together, call it a day, get 50
Put
more years
holes in
of
the
it.
roof or something to lift everything up,
No,
or in the ceiling, I mean.
no. And it's like there's tiles on that roof, but when those tiles come off, there's no gap between them and the actual board. So you just take the tile off, you're right there to start lifting. It's not too hard to do. It certainly won't cost, I'd assume it won't cost what the insurance company paid us to fix it. And then its roof will be safe again too. And with the sagging problem fixed, I'm sure some of the roof issue, like when you look at the roof, you can see a couple sags in it. Well, they correspond with where the whole hall has gone down 3 inches. So when you bring the whole thing back up 3 inches, those couple little sags might come out too. And just be left with a couple broken rafters that need to be fixed. So we'll see where it goes, but I don't think it's done yet. It would be entertaining. I like the council chambers idea. There'd be a lot of people upset, but boy, it'd be funny, wouldn't it? Okay, let's go, we don't have correspondence, let's go to committee reports. Last time we went this way, we'll start over here with Councillor McGregor,
Report?
Councillor Kushniryk,
No, sir.
Councillor Neely.
Well, there's been no committee meetings or nothing, but I met here with somebody else, with Jason Tomsky. It was to do with a ditching project. And the consensus was we have to wait basically till spring to see what happens, and then we'll take it from there. But Jason wasn't, he was quite, he was good about it. I was surprised. He was quite calm, cool, calm, and collected about it all. Good.
I have the survey here for anyone that wasn't at that meeting. And the moral is, the ditch is dug pretty well. The only issue is gonna be how fast that water gets to the yard at the end of it.
That's
It's
it.
gonna get there a lot faster.
So it's a good slope, it's a steady slope, and it's clear. There's nothing to hold it slow down.
There's that, I guess.
I also talked to the guy that lives there, and he said, well, it'll be an improvement. Well, I guess as long as his culverts don't wash out, it will be, because it used to come across, I think, west of his house there somewhere, water used to
And that's part of why the public works are gonna go and they're gonna clean that ditch and snow, just so that it has a good run and doesn't get backed up there.
And we have to keep an eye on that approach.
come. Yeah.
Like, I mean, that person that lives there, because that water could come up within
Oh, I
half
know.
a day.
Or
Like
it's
nothing in the morning and
gonna be
it's full blast.
Another Howell crossing
Yeah.
thing where we have
So I
to
mean,
watch it.
he's gonna, the guy that lives there will let us know, I guess, and just have to monitor it.
Keep the truck on the other side of the road. Or I'm parked on the road. But anyway, that's all, it's been nothing else.
Okay? Councillor Burick.
I attended the meeting too with Jason Tomsky here. I was involved with the group, and as Councillor Neely has mentioned, it was a good meeting. And I also attended, had the privilege and opportunity to attend the Benito Rec Center meeting with our Reeve. And it was short, but they went through the budget, and they thanked us for taking over their utility bill. They thanked us there, and really appreciated that. And looks like it's very busy. They're really booked up with bonspiels, with skating, rentals and all that. It's a busy facility. And their luncheon that they have on Wednesdays, really good turnout there. So they're gonna continue for a couple of weeks, see how that goes. But this one, I think that tomorrow will be the second one? Yeah.
Third.
Third?
Third, I think.
Third? Okay.
Maybe fourth.
But the ones that they had were good. Good turnout, and people were very happy. I also attended, that was on Monday, and also on, I had notes, but they're in my other vehicle, and I came with the wrong vehicle. Kristi and I, we were at the office here, and it was a Swan Valley Housing Champion Group meeting. And she took more notes than I did, she'd probably give us a full report on that, but that was the first meeting I attended. They're also having an open house, it's about housing the homeless. They're having an open house on the day of our next meeting. Which day is that?
24th.
24th, okay, they're having an open house at the War Veteran Hall. Is it War Vet or Westwood Inn? It's Westwood. Westwood, yeah. And there's gonna be a session 3 to 5, I believe, and then 7 to 9. So 7 to 9 is our meeting, 3 to 5 I drive bus. So Kristi will be there and our Reeve should be there.
Should he? Thanks for the invitation.
So anyways, we've just appointed you to a seminar. So 3 to 5 is their open house. And yeah, it was good, like I said, I missed the first one, but the second one, this one I attended was over in Kristi's office. It was over the computer, and it was a local committee, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So it's, Kristi, you might have full report, more to report on that, but other than that, that's it for committee meetings. But I mentioned before our meeting here that we should have a transportation meeting. And do you think it'd be good to have the whole council as a whole?
Wouldn't be a bad idea.
So that everybody throws your input into what, because it's just a committee, it's like a,
So would you like to do evening? Would that?
Whatever works
I
out
think
for
we may
everybody.
have to for everybody to make it here.
as long as it's not on Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah, Saturday.
It's Saturday night, so we don't
One
want
of them's gonna.
When's Councillor Blosha back? She's gone at least another week, I think, eh? She must be back.
to, but I think it'd be nice if we were all together, then this way everyone has,
So do you wanna do like, what about, like our next meeting is the 24th, she's back for that. Do we wanna go an hour early for that meeting? Like start at 6 or something?
Is an hour enough?
and, that's what I was gonna say, it could be, we need a couple
Well,
hours.
we don't wanna
You don't wanna drag it too long, but I mean,
We
if
don't wanna-
each councillor has their input into,
start blasting everything
Yeah.
out in 1 hour, you know what I mean? It's
So
gonna
we
be quite a
could,
bit to absorb.
options then. So that might be the only time to get in before our next meeting, we'll have to go
could
after
be,
that.
it could be after
Yeah,
too.
so we can go like 25th or 26th, that Wednesday, Thursday or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we'll get our rockstar CAO to survey the crowd by text message or something here in a day or so. We'll get Councillor Blosha's input on which of those nights she's available. We'll pick a night when everybody can be here.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea.
And we'll bring the lead hand in. and
Yeah.
We can
Well, I
spend,
think
because we can start at like 6:37 and go for a couple hours if we need to.
Yeah, that'd
I
be
think
good.
I can squeeze it in my agenda.
You guys basically.
Okay.
And then, okay, sorry.
Okay.
Another thing that I mentioned too, before our meeting with our Reeve, I says, we always talk about hired help. Do we need more men? And if we need more men, we should think about putting ads in the paper, and, because May's gonna come around pretty quick. Now, whether we need seasonal workers, not full-time, because we've got pretty well, but seasonal, or, I don't know. But now's the time to think about it, because you leave it till March, it doesn't do much time for advertising, interviews. And whoever we hire that is working somewhere has to give 2 weeks' notice, so it could be pretty late. So what do you think? What does council think? We always talk about we are short of men.
Well, Derek said last year he needs 6 more men.
No, won't be 6.
I guess my question to that would be how much equipment have we got sitting around when it should be moving?
Yeah,
I guess I don't know that,
and I don't know how many you'd know, or I don't know if you would even know, or some of our men, not men, employees coming back, like our mower person. Is that one coming back, or?
I don't know what we're doing there.
Yeah,
So
so
one of them, I'm kind of thinking is not.
So I mean, that's
The other
something,
one likely is.
that's something we could discuss at a transportation meeting, I guess, but what do you guys think should be
Well, if we can get ads out by 1st of March, we should be.
1st of March?
You know, we
Is
have
that-
our transportation meeting and
Is that okay then? If we do,
Oh, yeah, we
Do we technically have 3 mowers?
have 2 mowers, plus
Nope.
the other one.
or don't we have, yeah,
So we
3?
technically got 3 mowers?
And I think the one is 3-point hitch. Just don't quote me on which of the tractors it hooks up to. if it needs one of the tractors that is the other mower, or if it can go on the Bonito tractor. I think it
needs a
needs to go.
3-point hitch, but I'm not sure which.
Yeah. We have 3 mowers, we have 3 tractors, but I don't know if the combination of it results in 3 complete sets or not. Do you know? What's the Bonito tractor's a 3-point hitch?
Well, the Bonito tractor used to run the one mower.
Well, so, but
It has, the smaller one,
it wouldn't be 3-point hitch though, with the mower. We'll have to find out.
You need that, you need a 3-point hitch with that disc spine one, eh?
Disc spine? Oh,
Yeah, that new mower, the one that goes fast.
oh yeah, right.
Not the unit we bought this spring.
And if we get it out on time, before things are too tall, you know, like we've had trouble towards the end when things were dry and too tall. But boy, if we were out there when it wasn't so tall, that thing would move like the wind.
Well, I could use that in Ward 6.
How is it with clumps of sod?
That'd be a little rough on it.
What's that, Terry?
How is it with clumps of sod?
Oh, clumps of sod, yeah. No, you wouldn't wanna try it. Wouldn't wanna find out. But no, like he says, if the grass is not very tall, then she should move. So, but no, like, that we could discuss at our transportation meeting, I guess. But just something to think about right now, like,
Well, we're gonna be budgeting pretty soon, so we gotta know, you know, as far as what wages are gonna be.
because I don't know what's happening in Benito yet, you don't know what's,
Okay, so we will get a date circulated and figure out what everybody can be there for transportation.
Yep.
And then ideally, if there's anything like outside the normal little circle of transportation, let us know ahead so we can have the research on it, you know, so we can figure out the this or the that, or have the pricing, or whatever it is we need to discuss that night. So we're not here saying, oh, I wish we knew this. We can find that out first and be ready to go.
And one more thing.
Okay.
About 3 years ago, I mentioned about traffic lights on 49 and number 83 and 279 and number 10.
So you mean
And we-
streetlights, not
Streetlights,
traffic?
what did I say, traffic lights?
Yeah.
Streetlights, sorry, streetlights. And I think we give Hydro enough time, I don't know if we've heard back from them. Or I don't know, who- transportation,
It was
highways,
MTI.
MTI?
We were speaking to on it.
MIT.
I think we pinged them a while
I
ago,
did,
didn't we?
I haven't heard,
Let's ping them again.
yeah.
Yeah, because they had promised us they were going to count and look into it, and we haven't heard back, but we did ask maybe 3 months ago now for
Because I
results on
brought it
that.
up,
and didn't
I
get
brought it up about 3 years ago,
Mhm.
and we were looking into it all, or somebody was looking into
You
it.
brought it up at once a year at least.
Yeah.
For 3 years.
Yes, yes, but anyways, for 279 is dark, very dark at night. You can't see the turn, and 83, you know what 83 and 49 is, there's nothing at this end, but you go to the Saskatchewan side of number 9, I think there's about 6 or 7 streetlights. You know, it's well lit, eh?
Yeah, it's well
Here,
lit.
our intersection, there's nothing.
And you're right, the curve, that's a bad one on both. because
Yeah,
The curve
Like,
is
you
there.
don't know, yeah, you don't know where to turn until you're there almost.
Yeah,
And, but, yeah. So maybe we'll wait till next meeting, and next meeting maybe we'll pass a resolution requesting one if we don't hear anything. Is that a good idea or not?
They have replied with a letter
Okay.
last year
Okay,
with the one that you had requested at that time of me, 83 and 49.
okay, and I'll go 279.
You had not asked me at that time, you had asked me about the one.
Okay,
So I sent a letter about that, and they said that they would have it on their, come to inspect it
okay.
that spring. But I don't think that ever happened. So now we're pinging them to say, hey, you said you were gonna come and do this. So we'll get an update on where that is. I can write another one for the 279.
279 and 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it, like, it needs it. It needs it. Should have had it years ago. Like every other thing is lit, eh? And I shouldn't say every other thing. You come out of the Durban, what's the Durban road? You come to
Yeah, it's
number,
not lit.
it's not lit. And I mean, good thing there's a stop sign there. You can go right across it, like.
I got a solution, get your wife on it, she got this traffic.
I was just gonna say
She
that, I
got
was
the
gonna say,
traffic lights out by Tim Hortons.
that's, I was gonna, I'll have to tell her that, Terry reminded me about that, I'll have to tell her, she got the traffic lights in.
Anything else?
I'll let somebody else talk, I don't wanna hold up the whole meeting, no, that's it for tonight.
Councillor Zbirun.
Nothing to report.
Not-
Well, you could have said that
Because
before
it
he
was an hour
started.
ago.
I was just biting my tongue.
Do you want to speak a little bit about the housing meeting you had?
Well, just to add a little bit more to your talk there, Brian, the premise of those meetings that we had was to just kind of get us informed of, you know, what is homelessness, and that it's more than one select group of people. And that this forum that they're going to hold at the Westwood is meant for the people that were on that call were CEOs and council
Yeah.
members and PMH and harm reduction, all these people were on there from different facets of the community. And they're to reach out to their people and get people in the room that are developers, employers, RCMP, get these people that can come together, have a constructive conversation about moving this forward and maybe getting some action plan. What would they be able to bring to the table? What do they think a solution might be? And just really have some roundtable conversations. There's gonna be some preemptive questions, one on each table, and so you can choose a table that you want to be at to try to answer the question and just give some insight and solutions of what you think might work. But people that are, it's not a time to come and say, oh, we've got this problem and it needs to get fixed. It's for people that can actually come and like if you can develop some low-level housing or something that could help with this, that's something that we want to hear about. What does that look like? What are you willing to do or give? Who else can work together? Is there employment that can work off of this too? They've seen some success with some projects they've had in town and people that actually reunite with family, get jobs, reintegrate into a working society.
Following our meeting last 2 weeks ago, we had some marching orders given to us for Public Works. So on the next morning, we spent about an hour and a half with Public Works discussing some of those concerns that council had and looking for some solutions to them. Then on Thursday the 29th, the ditch meeting that's been spoken about a couple times, that happened. It went fairly well. So we've got our marching orders from Mr. Tomsky for that. So we'll take care of the spring stuff, see how it turns out and get into it. On February 3rd, I attended the school division consultation in Benito School. They were doing a dog and pony show through basically all of their schools, Swan, Benito, Bozeman, and Minitomas. So I went there because they kind of said at the G4 meeting we should show up, so we did. And I thought they might be talking about, what the future of the school holds, but it wasn't really that so much as the school division itself. So they're looking for some public input on what people think is going well with the school division, what they think they should do more of. And they gave us about almost an hour presentation about how things are in the state of the school division. And it was pretty alarming stuff. There are about 1,440 students or so, which has been pretty consistent the last 3 years. They say that's okay. But the students that are coming into the division, this year in kindergarten, they had 6 children come into kindergarten that were not potty trained. They have 12 nonverbal children showed up this year. And as you can imagine, that puts an awful lot of strain on the school division system to try to look after that. They spoke of the oldest student they have right now that's not potty trained is 9.
9. That's what I thought you said.
And they continue on with trying to resolve that issue to get them more integrated into the classroom. They have troubles with teachers. They have troubles with not enough EAs because they lost the joint principal funding. They have a lot of troubles. The school division's rate of passing courses is low. When we talk about Manitoba as one of the falling behind provinces, it's by like 0.5% compared to other provinces. It's still low. But some of the numbers, in grade 9 math, they only had 62% of the students pass it first try. So they have almost 40% of students not able to get through math. They had some numbers for reading. The school division works, to the end of grade 3, you should be able to read now. And after grade 3, what you're going to be reading is the lessons for everything else you're learning. So if you don't know how to read in grade 4, it's a real problem to read your math textbook because you didn't learn how to read. So they've looked through their students, and they have this wonderful wheel chart, and they have 4 colors on it. There's blue, green, yellow, and red. And the blue are students that are above grade 3 level. They have the grade 3. So they're running 10 or 15% of students are above level. they're running another percent of students that are at grade level, and combined together, that's 40% of students are at or above grade level in grade 3 for reading. 60% of the students are not. Of that 60%, 40% are in red, which is not just a little bit behind, but a lot. Statistically speaking, any student at the end of grade 3 is in that red zone, which is 40% of their students, has a less than 50% chance of graduating high school, because they're so far behind already that they can't get them caught up. So they've identified literacy as a huge issue in the division. They're doing some changes to how they're teaching literacy to try to get back to not leaving 60% of the kids below grade level at the end of grade 3, but within that below grade level, you have people that are coming to school not potty trained, and so if you haven't got through that part of life yet, it's hard to believe that you're ready for the next part. It's a real struggle. They talked a lot about the math, the reading, and it just isn't going well. In Swan River, they've instituted a pilot program in 2 schools, Hayes and Taylor. Last year, they're running it again this year. And they put a lot of words around that. But if you take all the words away, what they've done is they've taken the students that are struggling out of the regular classrooms and put them in a class of their own. So they're teaching that class separately from the other classes. And probably 40 years ago, we did that too, before we went to this everybody in the same classroom thing. And they're finding it works remarkably better to separate out the students that need extra help than to have them in the class and keep the whole class back. So they've, what they used to do has a new name. And that new name is now politically correct, and they figured out a way to sell it as a good thing, but it's helping, which is at least a start. And they say the kids that are behind are doing a lot better too, because they're not forever hearing that, well, so-and-so can do it and you can't. They're kind of their own group getting better together. But it is scary when you hear about the stuff that goes on. We did some group activities after. I sat with some of the management from the division, and they used the word feral to describe some of the children that are currently in school. They arrive there and they don't speak, they don't act, they act like animals that bite and kick and scream, and that's just how it goes. I can't imagine teaching in a system like that. They're desperately looking for teachers. They have a deal cooked up with Manitoba Housing where they can get some Manitoba Housing units for teachers to bring them in a few months at a time to try and get some. But it's a tough place, and there just isn't a lot of people wanting to be teachers. Brandon College usually puts out 100 teachers a year or more, 150 I think is their max. This year they're only going to graduate 78 teachers.
How many?
78, because there's nobody wanting to take the training. Next year they're hoping for 80 some if they all pass. But it takes several years to be a teacher. You can see what's coming, and there isn't full classes coming because people simply aren't enrolling. And I can get it. I always thought teaching would be fun, but if you tell me I'm going to have feral children in my class, I probably want a different career. So it was interesting. You had
any idea how many are retiring every year?
lots. So it was an interesting night, to say the least.
Well, then they would need more, in that other classroom, they would need more teachers' aides. They
They
need
would.
quite a few of them in that.
Where was the meeting though? Where was
I went to the Benito one, but there was also Minnetonka's Bozeman. I think the Swan River one is still coming up. I don't think they've held it yet.
And you said there was nothing mentioned about the future of the...
I was worried that we were discussing closing another school. They do have numbers on empty classrooms. So the high school right now has 13 empty classrooms, but they kind of put an asterisk beside that. So if you think of a power mech teacher, they have a classroom they teach power mech in plus the shop. Well, they can only count one classroom as theirs. So the classroom is theirs, the shop is counted as an empty classroom, even though it's being used. And so is the carpentry shop is an empty classroom because there's a classroom attached. So Benito has 5 empty classrooms, which isn't horrible. There was no discussion of closing Benito. They said the numbers are pretty stable right now. Benito is kind of right, the lowest of enrollments, but I was worried when we were out there it was going to be, a soft spin of, we need to get rid of another school, but it wasn't brought up. So hopefully that's good news.
Yep.
Just getting this phone now.
I was wondering when you're gonna pass them.
On Thursday, the 5th of February, I spent some time in Benito and then in the Durban shop as well. I wrote it down here as checkup. The findings of that will be discussed in camera at length. Then on Friday, I spent some time here meeting with senior staff regarding a human resources issue. So we went through that at length. That will also be going in camera for what it was about. There's a show and tell session to come. Councillor Burick had his show and tell earlier.
I had a preview.
I also met with the people working on the RISE book. I met with them on that Friday morning. On Saturday, I went out doing some road checks. We had a lot of complaints Friday afternoon about gravel and ditches and fields. So I went out and drove some of those roads to see what had happened there. It's probably not what people assume, because I think a lot of people assume we had an operator that just put the plow down and just shoved that gravel off. What appears to have happened is when we took the ice blades out, because it was so dry underneath all of that, as we scraped, we took off a lot of chunks of snow. On the bottom side of that snow, there's gravel from it. So at the time, we made these little piles on the side and kind of hoped that things would get better, and they haven't. So then the operator came through with his wing on and caught the top edge of that and blew that out in the field. So I walked out into some of the fields to see like how much gravel is it. Yes, there's some. There's no denying there's some. But it wasn't taken straight off the road surface as he went by that day. It's the leftovers from the ice blades, which is still a loss of gravel. But in some places you can see that the whole road was snow covered and there's still gravel out in the field, because what ended up was this leftovers from the ice blades got blown out. Yesterday, I spent miraculously some time with our union rep from Winnipeg on an HR matter here yesterday morning. I also was over at the Kenville Hall for a bit. Last night was a Chamber of Commerce meeting. Now I don't want to say this in a bad way, but it's the first time they've held a meeting for a while, because quorum was hard to accomplish in December, and the summer wasn't great for the president. We had a great chamber meeting last night, so the chamber has decided we're going to move ahead with another shopping local promotion for the Valley this April. So we'll be pushing again the idea of shopping hometown and being rewarded for that. We talked a lot last night about the security camera system, where it is, where it's going to, what's happening with that. So the chamber has some cameras and some equipment left to bestow upon businesses in the Swan River area. Because of how that funding was provided, the funding they're working on right now is $40,000 from the town of Swan River. So there's a constraint there that those cameras have to go within the limits of the town of Swan River, because they don't want a camera they paid for ending up in Swan Valley West, which I understand. So we're trying to be mindful of chamber of that, but get a few more views. There's a few more businesses installing right now, and then there's still some more cameras to go in to get a little better view. Last week, those cameras caught a wagon that was stolen, which was good, and we actually know who did it. So it was chamber cameras that managed to do that. So there is some success there. This morning I was out at the Kenville Hall looking again at those things and getting some plans made for tomorrow to get that fixed up. And that brings me all the way to tonight.
Yeah, it's like 2 weeks.
It was really not much going on.
He has to get caught up with his
Well, compared to some of them.
Some of them had nothing to report.
Anything else for committee reports, communications tonight? If not, we're going to take a break for a few minutes. When we come back, we'll be going in camera to discuss pretty much all of those things we talked about a few minutes ago. One of them is called Mustache Wars on the in-camera agenda. And we also will be looking at a bid for the medical recruitment treasurer position. We talked about last meeting, but there's an actual bid here for us to look at. Yeah, I see our 745 appeal did not attend tonight. So unless they show up here in the next few minutes, that will be going back to the office as the order was not appealed. And then we'll discuss the one that we have the letter from in camera. There's a couple other HR matters, including that contract we talked about 2 weeks ago. A sample is attached, so we'll look at that. For now, though, we're in recess for about 10 minutes. So coming back from our break, we'll go to section 13.1. Be it resolved that pursuant to section 1523, the Municipal Act Council shall meet as a committee of the whole, close the meeting, and continue discussions in camera regarding personnel matters, negotiations, preliminary discussions, investigation, enforcement of an active bylaw, and security of armed documents or property. Someone to move the resolution. Councillor Neely, and I see Councillor Burick there as well. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. Those in favour? Carried. We go to the in-camera session. We have some resolutions arising from the in-camera discussions. 13.4.1. Be it resolved the contract with the CAO be approved and as presented. Let me fix that. And be it further resolved the Reeve and Deputy Reeve sign the agreement. Is there someone that wishes to move the resolution? Councillor Neely, who would like to second? Does anyone wish to second? Councillor Kushniryk. Discussion. Hearing none, we'll call the question. Those in favor? Those opposed? That is carried. Do you want it recorded or no?
No, that's
Okay. 13.4.2 gravel contracts. Be it resolved that gravel hauling contracts be awarded to Cook Brothers for the north area of the municipality and to JTL Backhoe Service for the south area as per the bids received. Is there someone to move the resolution? Councillor Neely, who would like to second? Councillor Burick. Any discussion on this one? Hearing nothing, we'll call the question. Those in favor? That's carried. 13.4.3. Be resolved the appeal of the $400 animal control fine to Kevin Penner be granted and the fine reduced to the amount of $0. Is there someone to move the resolution? Councillor Kushniryk, would anyone like to second it? Councillor Zbirun. Any discussion on this one? Hearing nothing, we'll call the question. Those in favor? That's carried. Are there any other resolutions coming out of the in-camera session? Are there any notices of motion anyone wishes to present tonight? Hearing nothing. Be it resolved that this meeting shall now adjourn at 9:13 p.m. Be it further resolved the next meeting is Tuesday, February 24th, 2026 at 7 p.m. Moved by Councillor Neely, who would like to second the resolution.
I got no competition today.
Councillor McGregor. Any
We have medical
discussion?
bills for his shoulder injury.
Call the question. Those in favor? That is carried. Thank you everyone for a good meeting.